Okay. I'm just gonna close my eyes and see what I click on. Ah, Kim.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, let's get your stuff here. Oh, let me get my pointer. Oh, of course, it's not there. I have to look for it. Cursor. There you
This is from up in Michigan.
go. Okay.
Boats coming in from Lake Michigan down. This is in Manistee, so down the channel coming in for the night, the fishing boats. I was actually taking sunset and lighthouse pictures, and the old adage of look behind you,
Right.
and spotted the moonbeams on the water. So fired off a few, and this one turned out pretty good.
Very nice.
Wonder, yeah, you could probably cheat and get a good moonshot and just put it right over there. You know,
Nah.
even bigger, yeah, with some detail if you wanted to embellish it a bit. Yeah, I like that.
I like the light on the water. It's very pretty.
Thank you.
Lighten up the boat a little bit too.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little more detail in here would be nice. Anybody else? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Same evening. All those little black dots out there are all fishing boats. They're all out fishing for salmon, getting ready to come in for the night, obviously, because it's getting sunset.
Are they commercial boats or?
No, they're all private charters.
Yeah, we've had a real good season this year.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, this was back first about the 8th or 9th of August when I was up there.
Mhm. What salmon are prevalent now? Is it still coho?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
It's just perfect.
Really nice. Looks like it's getting ready for the green flash there. It looks like you got a little bird coming across here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Seagull deciding to just float.
Nice. And this I recognize.
This was part of our road trip. So this was the Oklahoma City
Mhm.
National Memorial, the bomb Muir building. And I just kind of I turned it into a black and white just to give it more of the somber feel that it deserves, even though
This is a memorial for the bombing, wasn't
yes, yeah.
it? Oh,
The small chair represents a child.
Oh,
Each chair has a name of a victim. So 9 rows of chairs for 9 floors. And then depending on how many people were killed on each floor is the number of chairs that are in each row. But it was an amazing place. I mean, the museum and everything is just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And while we were there were guys doing some groundwork, landscaping, and we found out that when they trim around the bases of these chairs, they don't use string trimmers. They're down on their hands and knees, manually cutting,
so they don't damage it.
so they don't damage. Yeah.
how big are these, Kim? Are they fairly big?
They're good. They're good. I'm 5'8", and the ones for the adults are probably somewhere about close to 6 foot. They're pretty good size.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, they use some kind of acrylic base that they put together.
Yeah, I don't know what it. We were talking to one of the park rangers there, but I don't think he told us what the bases were made out of.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty amazing and very somber at the same time.
And you really captured that.
Well, thanks.
Nice. I like the way that light kind of brings you up in here among the whole group. Very nice. Okay.
Cadillac ramp.
All right.
Couldn't resist. I had to stop. We had to stop. I told my husband, we've got to see this place. We were on the way to Amarillo, and it was just outside on our way into Amarillo.
Yep.
I don't know how many cars are actually buried there, a half dozen, I think.
There's
Uh,
quite a few. I've been by there, but
Yeah.
not-
yeah, it
Yeah.
had rained the day before. Amarillo got 5 inches of rain the day before we were there.
Oh my God.
So I feel that I actually really got lucky because I've got the reflections in the water, which you don't get very often.
Yeah, you didn't have a bunch of kids running around with spray paint cans.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
It's very hard to breathe there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of that boat you've seen the picture of at Lake Mead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Now that one, that was uncovered because the lake has gone down so much.
right.
That was just kind of recent. They showed that. Yeah.
So Kim, is this like a private lake or just a pond that fills up?
It's not even that. These cars were buried back in the 70s.
Oh, no kidding.
And they were put nose down.
Mhm.
And it's just become this roadside tourist attraction along old Route 66.
Mhm.
And people just keep continually repainting the cars. You can bring your own can of spray paint and just paint whatever car you want to paint on.
So were
The wa-
they unearthed or were they just
no, they-
buried just the nose?
No,
they were buried.
They were
purposely
buried on purpose.
Yeah.
But not
yeah, they were-
completely.
only about
Correct.
a third of it was buried, just the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're stuck up like monoliths.
Kind of balanced.
Hmm.
Okay, got
And
it.
it's just the fact that it had rained that there's all that water there. Otherwise, it'd be just the dirt that you're seeing in the field behind it.
It looks like it fell out of the sky into the mud puddle.
Right.
That's a great shot.
They even had a little concession stand selling spray cans when we were there.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a food truck concession stand there.
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had food and spray paint.
Yep.
Fun
Yeah, I
way
had
to end
to-
the day.
I had to clone out a couple of the paint cans that were on the ground.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
that's fun. I've not seen it wet before. Very cool.
Oh,
And then this is
beautiful.
back in Manistee.
You got that wave just perfect.
That's a nice.
Mm,
Thanks.
wow.
It was as you can tell, a stormy night that wasn't raining, but just the heavy clouds and the wind and everything.
I like all the supports going along.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love all the repeating lines of is it like a boardwalk to the lighthouse?
It's a concrete pier, yeah, or the lighthouse. Yeah, the way that the lighthouse keepers used to get it into the lighthouse. It is not a usable walk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't get up. You can't get up there.
Just, it's great for this leading lines to your lighthouse. It's perfect.
Hey, Kim, I had a lighthouse shot a few months ago there, or maybe last year.
Uh-huh.
And what I did is I took a little bit of that light from the sky and stuck it in where the light should be.
Oh, sure.
I remember that one, Alan. I remember you doing that. It was very effective.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a working lighthouse.
Sometimes I've been lucky enough, I just didn't get it on the shot to time it to get the light, because the lighthouse is working. I mean, it's on auto to get the light shining through, but my timing wasn't right on this when I took it.
Your timing's right now.
Yeah. Well, you can always do a little overlay with an airbrush, make it whatever color you want, and use maybe lighten as a blend mode. Nice. Okay, well, thanks for bringing
That's
those
it.
in.
Nice shot.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, let's just go down the line here and then we'll come back up to the top. Oh, you must have a bunch of before and afters.
I do.
Yeah. There we go.
So that's the after. If you want to go to the next one,
Yeah,
that's the before. So this is at the Mescal movie set. I booked a tour on the, I think it was the 27th of July. It was our last sunset tour of the season.
mhm.
Oh,
And then they
are
had
they gonna,
various,
sorry, on you go.
they had various volunteers that dress in period costume. And this was one, this fella here was dressed up.
Hmm.
So he's talking to a person on the tour. So I kind of cut her out and faded the color on it.
Hmm.
So it looked a little bit more period and less like now.
Mhm.
He was very animated with his hands. All the photos I took of him, his hands were doing something. I picked this one out because he had his hand around his pocket watch. And I thought that was kind of interesting. You don't see pocket watches anymore. And it is kind of a period touch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
His glasses looked correct, you know. It was really interesting, the detail on so many of the people's costumes and how great care they had taken to look authentic.
I like the carpet bag.
I did too.
Yeah.
But by the way, you do see a lot of pocket watches now.
Do you? I haven't.
Yeah, they're called cell phones.
Oh, that's
Good
a
one.
good one,
Good one.
Al.
Yeah.
That's a
The only-
good one.
The only time I see pocket watches is maybe at like, when people are dressed up in formal or something at a wedding or an event.
Oh, okay.
Pretty rare.
Yeah.
Pretty rare. Okay. Now, is this the before here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So this is before, and you can see it's a little crooked. It was hard to take photos that day because I'm shooting into the sun.
Mm,
And I had to use the little light they gave us to put over the top of my camera lens. I had a hood on, but it wasn't enough.
all right.
And try to hold all that and keep the camera straight. And I shot every one of these in manual. I decided to challenge myself. And instead of using a AV, I decided I'd go ahead and shoot each one manually, which was a lot of work because every shot I had to change up the settings because of the sun and the reflection of the sun.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny. The last trip I was on, I started doing that. And now all I shoot is manual. It's almost like I've gone back to rote memory of when that's all you had.
notice when you shoot in manual, you have to do less adjustments. I
Yeah.
do. It
Yeah.
seems like I get the colors better and the lighting better.
Yep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I just shoot manual too. Yeah,
Huh?
Mhm.
I just use manual all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't when I'm doing like birds and stuff that are moving. So I didn't like the sky and there was too much light. So this is the sky I had shot. I just put this in.
Mhm.
I straightened it out. In all these photos, I decided not to use topaz. The only thing I used topaz was a couple of these. I used topaz, the basic auto adjust or whatever it is. to kind of even them out, but I was using Nick color effects,
Mhm.
and I seem to get better overall lighting, especially like in this one, the front of the saloon was very poor lit. It was able to bring that out a little nicer. Kind of like the effects I'm getting from that. I have not used that in a gazillion years. And I was really impressed with it. It was able to do some interesting things for me with the grass. I didn't want the grass in the foreground to show up that much. So I was able to get in and even using in studio, there's is it HDL or whatever color adjustment?
Mhm.
I still couldn't get it right, but I was able to get it to go into this dark green that just kind of faded into the street, the dirt in the street, and not be so eye-catching like it was in the original, because it's really green because it's rained a lot there.
Yeah, I like your town meeting that's happening right in the center.
Isn't that something? And I caught this during the tour. Everybody's on the tour and the tour guide's talking away, and I see all this action going on in the street. I said, forget the tour. So this is not staged. These people were just having conversations and waiting for later on when they perform a skit towards the end of the tour.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, it really gives it more of a story.
Yes, that's what I thought. And you even have two ladies on the porch of the hotel way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
If you look, I just like it's kind of a Norman Rockwell kind of feel, you know, like an illustration.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're deciding what beer they're gonna have.
Or who they're going to shoot.
Right. Yeah.
Where is this located, Maureen?
Mescal, which is just a little bit west of Benson.
Oh, okay.
And this particular movie set was used for, they filmed Gunsmoke there.
Wow.
They filmed The Young Riders, all kinds of different Western movies. It was in association with, what is the one in Tucson? My mind just.
Oh,
Old Tucson.
Yeah, Old Tucson. They were connected together. It's actually on state land, and the state let them build all this, and it was about to be plowed under and given back to the state. And the Kirchners, who are very influential people in the Benson and Wilcox area, they own a lot of ranches and farms and whatnot. That family bought it.
Huh.
And then they put together this whole program where they have volunteers who come and they're helping rehab all the buildings. And they actually have two movies, one coming right now in September and another one shooting in October.
Nice.
So they're
Wow.
pretty excited that that was their hope, was to create another movie industry point of interest for people for Western movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I would probably bring this guy up just a little so you can see him better.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, other than that, I really like the way these clouds bring you in.
Yeah, I was just lucky that it fit this particular frame, you know, of this this picture. And maybe I should dampen down the barbershop
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that's now
You bring
bothering
it
my
down,
eyes a
bring him
little
up.
bit.
Yeah.
And bring him up. Okay,
Yeah.
good call. Good call.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Let's look at this next one here.
Yeah, this is similar, but a little closer shot. So again, I didn't like the sky. I did a different sky.
Wow.
And again, tried to draw you into the guys in the center to see what they were doing. They all look like, I mean, they're really having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Had the hardest time trying to get these buildings straight because they're not. They're all kind of
Part of the charm.
yeah. I finally, this is the best I could do. And the guy standing in the right-hand side, I think he might have known I was taking the picture because he's kind of looking at me
Mhm.
and he has a coffee cup in his hand, but you really can't see it that well.
Yes, yeah.
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 I also like the movement, quote unquote movement in the dirt, the circular patterns, because it's kind of, especially the guy on the right, it's kind of leading you to him.
And I took a lot of them out because they bothered me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's just how they drug the road. You know, they have a driver behind a truck and it's just how they drive it. And it did create all those patterns, which I thought looked a little phony. Because in a Western town, you would have more like hoof prints and, you know, maybe mud holes and stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, you would have wagon tracks.
Yeah.
Wait, that's what I was gonna say. Wagon
They
track.
could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
they could
Yeah.
be.
That's kind of what I thought of them as.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Buckboard too.
good.
Or we could, petition some of the makers to make a ground replacement instead of tire replacement.
That's a great idea.
Hey, I bet you could get that done on different ground. I love it.
Yeah, it's a nice image, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, looks like this one needs a little work on the upper.
You think? They warned you not to go in the buildings unless they said you could go in because
God.
some are in pretty poor shape.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these guys are really leaning. Pretty amazing.
Now the next one is opposite. So the second one is the
Yeah.
first. So they did a cute little skit with these two guys and the barber was giving him a haircut. But everybody was in front and I had to go to the side to get a shot. And that was the best like view that I had between the people that were there. They had 74 people there that evening. They
Wow.
broke us into 3 groups. So it was well attended. Very well attended. It was like 15, I think it was $15. Yeah.
Mhm.
What a deal.
Wow.
So in this one, I cropped out the bend of his arm that was on the other side of that post because I didn't like it. And there was a chair over there I didn't like. And to the right, there was like, by the step was kind of an old, like a water trough or something.
Mhm.
So I cloned that out. I thought it was distracting. Kind of got rid of it, extended the stair a little bit.
I like the crop.
Mhm.
Mhm.
At first I had more of the building, but the building was so distracted that I took it back down and cropped a lot of that building because it's tilted forward the top of that story. And then I played around with colors and some of the enhancements in Nick color effects to give it a little bit of a more of a burgundy and took that red down that was on the barber pole because it was kind of, it was getting all the attention.
Mhm.
And then I faded the color out.
Yeah, I like the fade. So you just took the saturation down a bit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Gotcha.
The opacity. I do that by having, the thing I like about Nick is it produces everything on another layer for you.
Mhm.
So it keeps the original layer. So like in something like this, I can put a black and white on top and fade it that way, or put a black and white underneath it and fade it that way.
Mhm.
Then when I faded this, I let some of the background come through the border
Oh, yeah.
just to make the border a little more interesting.
Yep. Yep. It's
Again, one of the volunteers. She was waiting around for things to happen. So I decided to do her in black and white and leave a little bit of color come through on her little flower on her hat and
Hmm.
a little bit of skin tone.
Oh, nice.
I did kind of a tighter crop to make her more important.
Mhm.
There's so much texture and lines going, and try to get all those lines straight because they're not.
I like the way the shadow leads in too. On the ground.
Thank you. Again, I did the same thing with the grass, tried to make it a non-subject. All in all, it was a really fun time.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may do that again. Like right now, they're closed for 2 months for the movie. And then in October, they're going to do a kids Halloween thing. And they weren't sure, past that. They hadn't got planning. So
Mm.
they have a website. It's mescalmovieset.com.
Okay.
You can, I think they have a newsletter you can sign up for. Keep you abreast of what they're doing, but it's just a fun place to go. There's so many interesting buildings, and the tour guide was awesome, and the people who were the volunteer characters were amazing.
Looks like a fun time. Thank you.
It was.
All right. Let's go to Wendell.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
This is going back to some of the color slides that I scanned quite a while ago. And I came across this one. We just made a trip up to Southeast Alaska, went through Seattle, but this is one of a previous trip years ago to Seattle, and it caught Mount Rainier underneath the wing of the plane there. And I can't believe it was about the 4th of July that we were up there, but saw all that snow on it. Anyway, as I say, this was just a color slide that I scanned and did a little manipulation in Photoshop, and that was it. That's
Definitely got the
Unbelievable timing.
yeah.
vintage look to it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Jim Murphy's had his pictures that he took out of his own airplane, but I had to pay to get on this one.
Yeah, mine wasn't free either, though.
Yeah, well,
I
I
guess
could have gone
it's,
first class.
well, it's nice. There's no clouds. That's pretty rare.
yeah. This trip, well, I wasn't sitting at a window and it was kind of cloudy up and gray, as I think most of the time when we were in that area, so didn't see much of anything. Anyway, that's about all I can say about that one. This one is also a slide scan from somewhere in the Seattle area, a little park with a really nice fountain and landscaping, I thought. So I used Topaz watercolor 2, 90% opacity on this, and just like the kind of jumble of concrete walls and pads in this, and then the softness of the green plants around it. And I think the watercolor treatment made that a lot softer. And I like the splashing water too.
Do you have any idea what your shutter speed was?
Yes.
No, I don't, I don't have a way to look it up anymore. The slide,
Well, if it was a slide, you didn't capture any metadata.
right? Yeah, yeah. I would guess, I usually use, if I had shutter speed set, it was about 125 or something like that.
Well, I was noticing the individual water drops are stopped.
Yeah. And
So I would guess 125 or even a little bit faster.
yeah, but some of those too, I think are reflections. There were a bunch right above the foremost waterfall, a lot of little white spots.
Well, that could be, yeah.
Reflections. I think I took those out. They were distracting. Anyway, just a pretty place, and I have no idea what park it was or where
Mhm.
we were at the time. So it was taken about 2002.
I like the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing, just a stair step pattern down and breaking up the flow.
I would probably just clone this little white guy out here on the edge. Especially if it, with the border there. And maybe just this little dark spot.
Oh, yeah.
But I really like the kind of misty feeling to it, especially back in here.
Yeah, and that's what the topaz treatment did for it.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, this was one I had in the black and white group. This was, there is a mountain outside the little town in southern Colorado where I lived when I was a kid. This is Mount Mistus. And by Levita Pass, if you're familiar with the south end of Colorado. And I like the black and white, but the color, the field in the foreground, just the brown stubble there and then a little bit of green. I did like the coloration. So all I did with it was used topaz basic correction, which didn't really change much of anything. I think it just made it all a little more crisp. Didn't try to get too dramatic with it. And I like to have the barn and the little buildings and fence in the foreground. Give a little variety.
So this almost looks like some shadows from cloud.
Yes, I think it was probably.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like pretty clear sky, but there probably were some clouds up between the sun and the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see just a little hint on the horizon of some clouds.
Yeah.
That looks pretty blue. I
Yeah,
like this little hint of red here too, kind of pulls you into this little area over here.
yeah. Yeah, there were some buildings, I think, up in there. Along Highway 160, it goes across right about where you pointed out that little red roof, I guess it is.
Mhm. So is that just a property without buildings or is that a little town or?
No, well, it'd be probably just some outbuildings. I think there's a few little private homes, maybe vacation homes up in that area.
Mhm.
And the only town is Levita is off to the right, much nearer. We were just at the edge of town where I took this picture. Okay, this is taken from about the same spot, just looking about 90 degrees to the left. This is a little rock outcropping that everybody called Rattlesnake Butte when I was a kid. I don't know if that's an official name or not, but it looked kind of plain, just as a straight color image. But I did use the topaz happy little trees on it to give a what looks to me kind of like a paint by numbers type of pattern of painting. But it gave it a lot more interest, I think, than there was without doing anything.
Yeah, it's almost got like a camo feel to it.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah, just trees and
Mhm.
meadows up there. This is all about 7,000 foot elevation.
Mm. Nice.
Anyways, just out in the country.
Yeah.
Okay, this got into the city. This is in Santa Fe. The Museum of Contemporary Native American Art, I think is the full name of it, right downtown near the plaza. Anyway, I like these bright painted columns, and I wanted to try to compress them even more, but that didn't work out too much, so I ended up with that gap between the first and the second one nearest. But it was just one pattern of color that I liked. It's
Cool.
a nice museum. We didn't go in this time. We'd been there once before, which they had a lot of art by contemporary Native American artists.
I liked all the textures and the running paint.
Yeah, I guess that was intentional. Did that, and they've got kind of a continuing pattern of those greenish stripes going all the way down the line there.
It
Nice
almost
one.
Interesting because it's very crisp and then you've got these little runners. You kind of
Yeah,
some things going on there.
yeah,
Yeah.
It looks like people, and they have green arms and they have skirts on. And you just
yeah.
can't see their faces because of the angle you took.
Well, maybe that's what they're supposed to be.
I don't know, it just kind of looks that way, like they're all dressed up kind of to
Yeah,
be similar.
yeah, or Kachina dolls or something.
Yeah, like modern
Yeah,
versions.
yeah. And then right above at the top end of those green stripes, there's a gradually expanding blue and yellow random pattern that gets bigger as it gets further down.
A wild suggestion, Wendell. You were complaining about the gap between the first two poles.
Yeah,
Crop it out, crop right to the edge of the second pole, and then widen what's left to the same width that you have here and see what that looks like.
oh, you mean just kind of cut out a section in there and
Cut out a section,
yeah,
cut out that first section, but then
Yeah.
it's too narrow, so just
Yeah.
widen it.
Yeah, so basically, you can just maybe somewhere like that.
I was thinking even tighter.
yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to keep that capo on the top, but yeah, let's try that. And then get our move tool and just. No, I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
transform it. But I don't want to transform the whole thing. I think I just want to.
Yeah, transfer, keep it going,
Yeah,
right there.
or maybe even a little more. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Then I guess you could come in and grab this one and bring it over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, do select and.
It makes them a little fatter, but,
Yeah,
You could probably elongate it as well.
well, you
Yeah.
could, and you could just left it alone
Yeah.
and let it be tall, but,
Mhm. Yeah, I've done that sometimes in pictures of things like boats out in water and with too much empty water between the boats, I'd cut out a
Right.
section. Because that's pretty easy.
need a little warp and stuff here, but let's see if we get our restore tool or
now the people who own that might not like this rendition, but
I kind of like it better.
let's see, maybe you could just kind of rough that back in. Take a little work, but
Yeah.
yeah, we got some time to line it up. You could do it right. Yeah, you'd have to work this down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little cloning and cleanup, you could get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Always nice to see something from Santa Fe.
Yeah.
All right, Al.
Mm.
okay, this was up at Madera Canyon a couple of weeks ago. And got something that you don't get up there all the often, water in the stream.
Mhm.
And I've got two of them, basically the same shot, except this one was taken at an 80th of a second, and the next one was a 1/5 of a second.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and I cropped them so that they're approximately the same crop.
Hmm.
By the way, that 1/5 of a second, so it's the 80th, but they're both handheld.
I wondered. That's amazing.
That was my R5 with the at 75 millimeters on my 24 to 240 lens, and the image stabilization on that thing is fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
And so I could have even got. I did a calculation, and I think I could have gone to 1 second
Mm.
Really?
and still handheld it.
Wow.
Mm.
And that's based on how many f-stops I'm supposed to get.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I got a question. Who likes the faster shutter speed and who likes the slower shutter speed?
Floor.
I like them
Slower.
both.
Yeah, I like this slower, but let's look at the other again. Yeah, I think you get a lot more movement going on the slower. I kind of like the way this feels along with the movement of the rocks.
And look at how crisp the foreground is.
Yeah, you must have had some steady hands there.
Hmm.
Well, I have a real good image stabilization. That's what I've got.
Yeah,
And I do have fairly steady hands, but for somebody my age in particular, I actually personally prefer the faster shutter speed. I like a shutter speed for moving water between 50 and 100. And I think myself, I think that's what you tend to see with your own eyes. where the slower shutter speed, you don't see that milky form that you get, and I'm starting to get the milky form. If I'd have gone a second, I'd have really gotten milk. But
Mhm.
and I don't like a faster shutter speed because then you start freezing drops, and you don't see that with your naked eye either.
Yeah.
It's kind of delightful to see it in a photograph for me because you don't see it with your naked eye. So when I see it in a photograph, it's kind of intriguing.
Yeah. I regretted after I got home that I didn't shoot one with a fast shutter speed and have 3
Mm.
pictures together.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time,
Mhm.
next time water flows in the Madura Canyon.
I found it's flowing pretty good usually in January, but not like this. We had a pretty good rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, this guy was just posing for you.
Yeah, he was. Now that one I used my 150 to 500 lens on. The purpose of going up there was actually not me shooting pictures. It was Charlotte was trying out the Canon 100 to 400 lens that Ron Stein has. She just bought an R7
Oh,
and she liked it so well she now owns it.
mhm.
Not Ron's, but a copy of it.
Mhm.
But if you're familiar with the bird area at Madura Canyon, you know that's from quite a ways away.
I like the pattern of the post on the right and the bird on the left. I think it gives it a good balance.
Well, yeah, my original intent when I did that was to crop it in so you got mostly the bird, and then I saw that post and I kind of liked it in with it. So
Yeah.
I cropped it so that I got the post and all in with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the long, narrow format too.
Yeah,
nice-
well, yeah.
Yeah, reiterates the board.
Nice detail. Yeah.
Mhm.
I did brighten the eyes just a hair,
Mhm.
not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah, that's all I needed.
Mm. Nice.
Same trip. I don't know what that flower is, but it was, and it's prettier in the picture than it is in real life. But I thought it came out pretty good, and I cropped it just to a square crop. It looked better.
Mhm. That's your 150 to 500? Or is
No,
it?
that one is the 24 to 240.
Ah, and you still got the fall off. Nice.
And what photo length did you shoot that at?
I'm not sure on that one. I'd have to look it up. I would guess 100, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe-
I have that same lens. I really like it.
oh, I love it.
Mhm.
And as a walk around lens, it's absolutely
It is.
tremendous.
Yeah,
I
it
know,
is.
it's
Yeah.
fabulous. I just wish it was a little like it was an 18 to 240. That would be a little,
A
a little
little
nice.
bit more wide, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Or I think my particular preference would be make it 24 to a little bit longer.
Like 300. Yeah.
Yeah, Oh, no, I'm gonna go all hog. Let's make it 24 to 600.
Yeah.
Then you have to sell your house to afford it.
Well, and
Yeah.
I'd also
Have
have to
somebody
hire,
carry it for
I'd
you.
have to hire a porter to pack it
Yeah,
around for me.
Exactly.
Comes with wheels.
Yeah.
But that one's up at the, still in Madera Canyon, and that was a butterfly, and I kind of like, I was lucky to get his position where he was, but sort of lucky. I was aiming for him, but the original, the hummingbird is slightly out of focus. But I took it into topaz, and that's brilliant on black is the look. It wasn't a filter, it was in the looks. And I used it at about 50 or 60% so that I brought out some of that green background. And because the look softens the picture up a little bit, it didn't make any difference that it was slightly out of focus to begin with.
Mhm.
A-
Nice.
And I thought it came out pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah. I really like what it's doing to the sun here.
Yeah,
Mm.
it actually toned down the bracket on that was on the hummingbird feeder, and it toned it down a little bit, but
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, I would just clone this little line out because just
Yeah.
I actually have on I discovered it after I sent it to you, and I decided it wasn't worth sending it again.
Yeah.
And
Funny how
by the
that
way,
works.
that is not in the original. That was introduced by Topaz.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I grabbed a little highlight of something and
Mhm.
pulled it all.
Right there. That was introduced by Topaz. It was not in. I double checked it because I saw that after I was going over it, and I thought, why did I not take it out? I still don't know why I didn't notice it to be when I was doing it, but that was introduced by Topaz.
Yeah, it's amazing how if you walk away and come back later, you find so many more things.
Yeah, but I have taken that out now, but I didn't resend it.
Oh, that's fine. Good.
Al, do you think if you lighten that left corner, there'd be some green in there too?
Over here.
Top, I'm sorry.
Oh, up here.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, okay.
there would not be.
Um,
But and I
Because your
thought,
my eye bounces from the green, and I just kind of like would like a little green over there just to kind of make a full circle, because the green
well,
is so interesting.
I actually thought about once I got back into Lightroom, I thought about taking it into Photoshop and adding a little green on that side,
You could clone some of that maybe.
so
And
I could clone some of that green in.
it'd make it a nice composition. You've got a really beautiful composition.
Yep.
And
Composition. But
the left is just too boring, that one section.
Well, I thought about making the left even more boring by leaving it a full 100% brilliant on black,
Mhm.
because then almost all of that green would have disappeared.
I like the green.
I did too. That's why I went ahead and brought it back in.
Good job.
I also, it did another thing though. It did tone down the hummingbird itself a little bit. The hummingbird was actually brighter before I reduced the amount of that look.
Mhm.
And did you like it better reduced, or did you like it better later?
I like it both ways. Just, you're talking about just the hummingbird.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I liked it both ways.
Okay.
But
I'm curious.
what do you,
I'm curious if there's enough green to pull out of there just by localizing it with a, just a big brush here. Just kind of come on here and let's see. Yeah, you can pull some of it.
Ooh, you're pulling some.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a little warmer green, which is nice.
yeah. Well, you can cool it off a little if you wanted to. There you go. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. You wouldn't have to call it anything.
Mm-mm.
You can give a little more contrast too if you want.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Perfect. It didn't need too much.
No,
You didn't want to distract from the other, but it just kind of
Mm,
now makes your
yeah.
eye go all the way
Yeah.
around.
enough. Yeah.
It's connected. Oh, wow. Holy cow. It's almost like a macro.
and that's again, and I know that's at 240 on that same 24 to 240 lens.
Mhm.
Very nice. It looks like the bee is looking at the insect on the other leaf over there.
Yeah, it kind of does, which is
Yeah.
interesting because he has no interest food wise anyway in that insect.
No, no, but maybe competition. It could be a native bee. There's some really tiny native bees.
Yeah.
I've yet to see a hummingbird since our hailstorm here. I mean,
Oh.
a honey bee since the
Oh,
hailstorm.
honey.
I've seen a couple of native bees, but no honeybees.
When do you
Yeah,
have the
Pretty
storm?
scarce.
July 17th, I think,
14th.
14th.
Yeah, it was a Saturday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of stuff was gone. In fact, the hawks we had here every day, one just came back yesterday. That's the first one I've seen.
Wow.
Yeah. Just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no.
Mosquitoes, plenty of those though. Yeah, more
That
mosquitoes.
one also has a topaz treatment slide, but I don't remember what it was.
Mhm.
Beautiful background on that.
Yeah. Like this little piece sticking up here too. That's kind of fun.
Great detail.
Peeking out. Nice work, Al. And good to see you delving into some topaz too.
Well, like I said, I went to topaz because that hummingbird was out of focus.
Yeah.
And so to cover up the slight out of focus,
Yeah.
I just blurred the whole thing a little bit.
Yeah. Wide creek.
There's a pretty young lady.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
This is my little granddaughter. She's 4 going on 24. I think I've told you that before. And yeah, she got dressed up in her grand's wedding dress.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
So she was out enjoying the dress up.
Mhm.
Beautiful portrait. The lighting is just fabulous.
Yeah, and the
Oh.
wind blowing her hair off to the
Mm.
side.
Yeah, it really pulls it across nicely.
Did you have fans in the background?
No. No, this was outside in the front yard. Yeah,
An ambient light. You had nothing extra.
no extra. No.
Beautiful light.
Yeah.
Light in her eyes. My goodness.
That's a lovely smile.
Yeah.
It's not, it's kind of somber, but it's not quite.
She's just a natural. I don't tell her to do anything. She just you know, decides on how she wants to pose, and she's got all the moves. I don't believe it. Yeah.
Just bring your camera, Grandpa. I got this.
And she enjoys it, right? So that's the other thing, I guess.
It's nice.
That's great.
Well, you should
Yeah.
print that for Christmas for her parents.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one. We might as well skip the black and white and go right to that one.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very
So I
nice.
decided to leave the rose red there just to,
Mhm.
I think, just to make it a little bit more interesting, I guess.
Good
Mhm.
job.
So this is inside the house, and it's just a natural light. Again, we have the front door open, and that's all that's used here. So
Wow. It's just
Yeah.
stunning.
I did put a little bit of a gradient filter in from the right, just to darken that up a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah, sets her off nicely. Is this her brother?
This is my older grandson. He's 12, so he was just over the other night there. So I was in the mode for taking photos, portraits. So yeah,
Is
same
that
location.
same location as the last one?
Yeah, exactly the same location.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I liked them all in black and white. Just
Mhm.
black and white to me just makes portraits just jump, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Definitely. Very nice. Well, let's take a look at some other black and whites here.
Yeah, so this is place called Heritage Park here in Calgary. So it's got a lot of depictions of, you know, the past century, and this is an old train station. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was really nice in color, but again, I took it into the black and white program. And the very first one that came up that gives you a suggestion of what to use was the one I used. It just fitted the bill. I liked all the roof textures here, and yeah.
Mhm. What do you use
Okay,
software for black
that's
and
that Nick
Nick.
Silver Effects. Yeah.
white? Yeah.
The only thing I would like is a little more detail in the shadows underneath the eaves. If there was a way you could lighten that area in there, because it just has turned to black and you've lost all the detail. And you can see there's brick on the building, and it might be kind of interesting to see that.
Now I found when I'm using Nick that, you know, those control points are a real pain in the butt because you got to line up more than one. So usually what I'll do is I'll finish it off and then go back into Lightroom and then use a selective brush.
Okay,
those
to get the
backgrounds.
shadows.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks like it's telling me I'm signed out again, but hopefully you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I don't know why this comes up, but it's saying somebody else signed in. Okay. As long as it don't knock me out, I'm happy. Yeah, but that works out nice because you have a lot more control of the brush than you do with those control points.
Okay.
Unless it's just a little face or something. I rarely use those. But yeah, Nick is wonderful for black and white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Oh,
wow.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice
This
shot.
is thanks. This is the Peace Bridge in downtown Calgary, and went down there last week and did a death a death-defying climb to get underneath this bridge.
I was gonna ask, were you in a boat?
It was pretty scary. And you can see these rocks at the other side there. That's what's on this side, and they're huge boulders. They're just, and some of them aren't stable. So it was a bit of a have to be very careful going down. So
I'll bet. Nice.
so this I took various shots obviously when I was there, and I can't remember. I think this is at least 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, looks like you got some time because of the way the water's moving. I like that.
Yeah.
Against the
But
Christmas.
I love the bridge, you know, all the details, all the weldment underneath and
Yeah.
the support, the ribs. Yeah,
Is that the
Alan,
true
did you-
color?
that's the color. Yeah.
Wow.
So Alan, did you use a tripod?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, I think this was a 3 or 4 second
Oh,
timer. Yeah. So my question, Sandy, is I'm seriously thinking of putting this on metal.
Mm.
And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's be
What do
great.
It'd be
Yeah.
good on metal.
Yeah,
That would,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be beautiful on metal.
yeah.
so I've trimmed, I had to trim it up a little bit to suit the size of the metal, you know, canvas that they were selling. So,
Yeah.
so I trimmed off a little bit off the bottom of where the
Mhm.
water is.
Mhm. Yeah. I would just, you know, clean up some of this stuff in the foreground if you're gonna go to print, just to, you know, make it all nice and pristine. I don't mind the weathering on that here, but some of these things like this, you know, be easy to fix and make
Yeah.
it look distracting. Yeah, very
Yeah.
nice.
Good.
And then maybe this little
Mhm.
white here, and
Take that out.
yeah, maybe
And
tone
that
that
one?
down just a little so you don't pop over there.
If you're gonna have to crop top, bottom, there's
but-
two little curves right at the very top that's just barely
Yeah.
in there.
Mhm.
I might think about cropping them out, see what it
You know,
looks
I
like.
thought about that, Al. I did, but I kind of liked that. And it's already cropped right off the bottom. So, I mean, I can
Okay.
go back and fix that, but I thought
always-
about these little guys.
Yeah, I would
What do you
maybe
think?
drop them down just a hair, not much, you know, because these are pretty bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of reiterates it. But yeah, maybe
What ab-
right in here, you know, bring it down to
What
this.
about
area.
the red parts right at the high, real neon type red there?
Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops, sorry, thumb hit that. I don't know. You could bring it down a little bit and see, but
I kind of liked them. I'm just asking
I-
for your.
yeah, they
opinion.
kind of reiterate as they go and they get dimmer as they come down. So maybe just a teeny bit if you do anything. But yeah, these,
Now, the important thing is that it's up to Alan because it's his art.
yep,
Yeah.
And I've always said that, when I give suggestions, they should be taken for exactly what they're worth.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But because what looks good for me is not necessarily good for somebody else. And so,
That's what amazes me about all sorts of photography, all sorts of images, and it's
Yeah.
amazing how some people like things and some people don't. Some people get excited and some people don't. It just
well, there's obviously no right or wrong way, but I just thought I would offer that as a suggestion
Yeah.
and see what you thought it looked like if you cropped just
Well,
barely so that they're not there, but
yeah. This is a 24 millimeter lens, so I paid a lot of attention to try and get it exactly level and square, so that we wouldn't, there'd be a minimal amount of distortion in the buildings.
yeah.
So,
Well, it's a great shot, and I'll guarantee you it's a shot that not everybody gets.
Mhm.
oh, Now I'll have to be honest, certainly I wasn't the first to get this, but
No, but not
Yes.
ever Tom, Dick, and Harry gets it either.
no,
Particularly a night shot.
yeah,
Here's a thought, and I don't know if it's a good one or not, but you know, on the left, on the water, you got that green reflection there.
green reflection.
Yeah, you got
Yes.
that green reflection there. I might, you could try on the right, putting a little bit of green into the reflection over there. I don't know if it'd work or not. It's kind of a similar, it's kind of a symmetry
Kind of
thing.
balance it, yeah,
It's a red-
balance it.
Red-green thing and a symmetry thing. I don't know, just a little bit of
Well,
green.
or just bring this blue up a little bit. You know, just bring the blue up a little bit so you have some variation.
Yeah,
No, having said all this, if you print it just the way it is, it'd look great.
see, there was another bit that bothered me a little bit again, was the shadow of the shadow of the bridge on the water. Not the dark shadow that as it comes out to the.
This right here.
Yes, that line, it looks.
Yeah, I'd break that up. Make it more like this one. Like right
Soften it
here.
up a bit.
Yeah, maybe break this up a little bit too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, good call.
okay,
Nice.
good, all right, thanks.
Yeah, that'd make a great metal print.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go and get a metal print.
You're gonna run out of wall space pretty soon.
I never put them up in the wall, that's the thing.
Oh, well, that's one way to do it. Okay, Jim Bowman.
Yeah, these are wild cherries up in northern northern part of Michigan. And just put a little topaz, I think it was colored pencil. That's all I did.
Nice.
Looks like a maraschino cherry tree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What you want to have below that, these cherries is a nice glass of shaped martini glass. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, nothing special, just you know, kind of fun. That's all.
Yeah, my old rep in Chicago used to get these from a friend of his in Michigan. He grew up in Door County, and they take these cherries from Michigan and they make a liqueur called Cherry Bounce. And
Oh, yes.
pretty
Mhm.
lethal.
Yes. I have had cherry bounce also. It was strong.
Yeah,
It's a very nice composition.
yeah, it's
There's
nice.
a lot going on. My eyes just going everywhere in here.
Yeah,
Very nice.
It's kind of serene.
Mhm.
what do you think about maybe knocking this one down a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe down to something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
The rest of it works. Nice. Ah, another stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's I went up to, my wife and I went up to a town called Northport. You may be aware of it, Kim.
Mhm.
And we go up there every year. And so this is Mill Creek. Mill Creek, and it's just a little kind of a neighborhood pond and bridge and so forth. I just thought it was real serene.
Summertime.
Summertime.
Yeah,
I like the bench, empty bench.
Mhm.
yeah.
Really
You use
pretty.
the smudge filter on that?
A what filter?
Did you put a topaz filter on that also?
Yes.
This-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they call the it's a colored pencil as
Color
well,
pencil. Okay.
or maybe it was maybe it was just a what do they call it? Can't remember. But it was a soft focus topaz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It really gets dreamy back here.
Yeah,
Nice.
beautiful.
What do you think about maybe darkening the foreground up a little bit?
Like right under.
Yeah, let's take a look. Maybe with the gradient. Mhm. Still flat again. Okay.
I think I put a vignette on it, but
Yeah, that might help.
maybe not enough.
Yeah, let's just try to maybe somewhere around here. Just kind of something like that. Maybe move it down a little bit. Let's see here. Okay,
Hmm,
something like that.
nice.
Yeah, that's
Try
good.
to
Yeah.
exposure just a hint.
Mhm.
There, something like that. Yeah. So you got, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Just,
so
Just does a little bit of a nudge. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, kind of
just
keeps
brings
you in
the eye
area.
right up.
Yeah, and then you've got all this mist going on back here, and this almost looks sharper because it's darker and a little contrast here. Yeah, yeah, that could work. Mhm.
Okay, this is again Northport, and just a real kind of like, I'm not sure what that kind of boat is called. I mean, it's a sailboat, but
It's a ketch rig,
what do they call it?
ketch rig, Ketch.
Ketch. Okay, well, it's a nice ship, and it was just up there docked, and it was
Looks like
irresistible.
one that used to be in Monroe Harbor in Chicago. Let's see what the name. Oh, I can't see the name. Yeah. looks
No, they
very-
didn't.
Very
Oh,
familiar.
there it is over there.
Yeah. Nice.
You know, actually, those masts are the same height. I was thinking the mast on the left was taller.
It looks
Yeah.
taller.
Well, it might be a schooner rig.
A schooner.
Yeah, he's got him right pretty back pretty good too. I really like this cloud in between.
mm-hmm.
Nice touch. Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Now I want to go sailing.
Something about sailboats.
Okay, so this is the Northport Jazz Festival. We went up there for that.
Hmm.
So while we were there, took a few shots, but there was some musicians that are summer residents, and they play pretty often. So this was a shot in, I think, yeah, I put this one in topaz and put a Degas kind of a filter on it.
Hmm.
Nice. Looks like a poster for a jazz event.
Yeah, there were five there. There were five jazz musicians, and but I couldn't get them all, so all in one shot. But that was pretty close.
A good composition.
Very strong.
I like the way the darks kind of bounce around and surround them. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I like that effect too.
And here's the other one.
Yeah.
You got all five there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but you know, that was kind of a more diffused one, but I don't know which I like best, but I think I like the first one, but
Yeah,
Too much going on in the second one.
yeah, that's what I felt like.
Yeah,
But
this one's a little more graphic too.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one's almost more painterly.
yeah, it was a painterly done in Topaz Studio,
Mhm.
and I think it was the same. I think I forget which filter I put on it. It was a painterly look,
Mhm.
but it gave a painting look, you know, it just kind of like there was a gal there doing some watercolors of the group too,
mhm.
which was interesting. I almost wanted to put her in it too.
Yeah,
I was wondering on this, if you cropped in the left side to almost to the piano player, you lose one of the musicians, but get the
Yeah,
little
oops.
piano cropped down a little bit.
Yeah, maybe you could kind of,
Yeah,
Like
somewhere,
over there, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
a little
maybe-
further in from the.
maybe pull some of that door out too. Yeah, I guess you could leave him in and,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that may help bring it in a little bit. I suppose you could go in and select these windows and bring them down a little bit, so you got a little more going on in this area. Keep your eye down here.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
So there was our trip to Northport.
Ah,
Nice.
Nice.
okay, Jim Murphy.
Yeah, so my neighbor called me, he says, oh, you want to go shoot the Milky Way? So I said, oh, okay. So we went up on the arm of Mount Baker. And so all 5 of these shots were shot at the same time, same place. And I think this one, boy, I can't remember now. The first 1 or 2 I did in Lightroom, and then the rest of them I ended up doing them in Neo. So there was, you know, the original shot, you couldn't see the foreground at all. It was just completely black. So
Single shots, Jim.
yeah, just a single shot, like 15 seconds, f2.8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got a nice long trail here.
Yep.
Shooting star.
So I'm seeing a kind of pattern in the sky. Is that just me or?
No,
No, I'm
I think
seeing it
that's
too.
you know, yeah, I think this was a Lightroom one, and I think it has, I think that there'll be less pattern on some of the other ones.
Is that like
That's-
I'm not sure. Is that called Moire?
I think that was from probably caused from denoise. I'm not sure.
Yeah, looks like a moray or something.
Yeah.
Is that what that's called, Sandy?
Yeah, moray pattern, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Huh, interesting.
You should use a program called Starry Landscape for processing these. It's an amazing program.
Okay, so the rest of them I think are done and going to be done in Neo. And what I figured out in Neo was that if you go to presets, go to landscape, and there's what first under landscape is long exposure. And it was, I was able to with Neo, so when I did it in the other programs, it took a long time to do it, like a half an hour. I could do it like in 5 minutes in Neo. So this one was done in Neo.
But
The only thing after go ahead.
well, what took 5 minutes? I mean,
To process these things, because there's so much noise and they're so dark and everything, it takes, you know, depending on how you do it. I've spent an hour or less on one of these one time, and then it came out crappy as well. But you can do it pretty quickly in Neo, I found out. So
Is that the light from Seattle there or?
that's the lights from, yeah, some cities, and yeah, it's a little bit of light there. So, and I kind of amped up the light a little bit, and the colors aren't completely natural, of course. So I put some blues in there and some purples and so on and so forth.
Mhm. Hmm. I'm gonna come back to this image because I see there's still a lot of noise in the shadow. I want to try a couple of things. Just to
Okay.
see what'll happen there. Let's continue.
And this was shot from the same place, but looking in a different direction because there's still some light up on these high clouds from the, the sun has set, but there's still a little light on the clouds. So this is just the same spot looking a different direction.
Yeah, it's nice.
Two more shooting stars here. Yeah, we were getting quite a few the other night too.
I got shooting stars in almost every shot I took.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Hmm.
This one's an example of what Kim said, to turn around and look behind you. So this is looking to the north. The Milky Way was to the southwest. I got sort of bored of taking Milky Way shots, and I turned around and shot this one to the north. And of course, with your eye, you couldn't really, the colors weren't that noticeable, but with the time exposure, the colors really popped out. So I think there's some northern lights going on there, basically.
Yeah, there's a big ejection from the sun the other day, and
Yeah.
they said the northern lights were pretty strong.
Can you see them down in Arizona or not?
No, but I saw they were coming down to Banff. Did they get down to Calgary?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't go out because it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, you might be able to pull some more of that up. It's nice.
they're elusive, that's for sure.
Yeah, you sure got your money's worth out of the one location. Now, was this a hike up or is this just off the road?
No, this is like just right out of the parking lot and called Artist Point, and very short walk.
Nice.
There are trails where you can go all the way up the mountain from there, but this is just right from the parking lot.
Hmm.
So again, this one was done in Neo, and then I did run it through denoise.
Mhm.
The original image, again, you couldn't see the boulders down there or anything, but that landscape, long exposure just opened that all up really nicely.
Nice.
Now, let's start Neo up here real quick. I decided to get that subscription just to see what their noise and other things will do. And what it does is,
I was thinking about doing the same thing.
yeah, I just got it because it had that sale on. I don't know if it's still happening, but it puts up, it almost looks like a little puzzle piece here. And then when you click on that, it'll tell you what's coming up. But basically, you got HDR merge and noiseless right now, and then they've got some other ones coming. And not quite telling you what the rest are yet, but it looks like they got a background removal and an upscaler. So I guess they're going after Topaz with gigapixel denoise, and they used to have their own HDR merging. Aurora was a program of theirs, so I guess they just pulled it into here. But basically, if you're in the catalog mode, there's an HDR merge here. That's where they put it. And I just checked this morning, and then there was another upgrade. They had one last week, 1.3. Now it's 1.31. So that's the newest. And I've noticed that when you're Let's grab that image of yours real quick. Yeah, this one, okay. I notice when you're moving around, say in edit mode, and you do something with your sliders, it's refreshing a lot quicker than it used to. And even at 100%, it seems to, only go out of focus and then it freshens up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little better than it was. And then this is the noiseless that they have. I don't know if it's going to even have a chance on this stuff, but when you start it, it'll tell you what to use. Here it's saying the middle, but I'm guessing. And it takes quite a while. It's not instant like denoise is, although denoise you got to wait for the.
Well, on some of those images, denoise took like 5 to 7 minutes when it wasn't that fast, really.
Well, not for the preview though.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just to get you the preview. Although I think once you're there, you're processed. So at that point, if you're just tweaking dials or something. And I also found playing around with it, generally I'll do a denoise before I start edging things up. Whereas on this one, it seemed to work better at the end. But we'll see if it does anything on this image or not.
I've got a kind of question, kind of going back to metal prints, if you get a minute here.
Yeah.
What would black and white images like these portraits that I showed you earlier, would they be good on metal prints as well, or what?
I've not seen many on metal. It might be nice as a matte print on a watercolor paper.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I just thought of this. I just thought about it.
Yeah, it might be worth trying it just to see what it comes out.
I've done some portraits on metal but not black and white. And I've done them using the satin finish, not the shiny finish. And they turned out really nice.
Okay.
Well, it looks like it took some of it out,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but I don't know if it's enough to make it worthwhile. Now, once you're in this first stage, you can change between low, medium, and high, and it doesn't take quite as long. There you go. I don't know if we're gaining that. Yeah, I guess we're gaining a little more going into high. And then you've got your detail and sharpness. And of course, if you crank up the sharpness, it's going to start bringing back the noise. But
yeah, I used my 62 megapixel camera, which is not very good for noise, but I figured I know where all the buttons are in the dark, which is kind of useful. So.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you can kind of see it's toning that down a bit in the lower right. So it might have a use. Yeah, so you're saying on the presets you go to landscape?
Yeah, go to landscape.
All right. And the first one?
The first one is called long exposure or something.
I don't see that one. I see landscape. And it's gonna be
Well, you know what? It changes them around. It looks at your picture and it changes around the. So yeah, click on landscape, which shows the buildings there.
Big city lights, yeah.
Not
that one.
Not big city lights. Landscape.
Easy landscape.
Up, left, right there. Click on that one.
Yeah, that's what I clicked on. But that's big city lights.
Oh.
Yeah, it's under landscapes. It's like they give you a category.
Huh.
Maybe.
Yeah, I noticed that the categories move around. It looks at your photo and
yeah,
tries to decide what you need and then puts those categories up.
I know, and
Which
there's
I
no
don't like.
yeah, I don't either, and there's no search field.
Right.
So you
and
can't.
The other thing is there's no slider with the effect.
Well, here's landscape. No, it's the same ones. Let's see. There it is, easy
There it
landscape.
is, long exposure.
All right, long exposure. All right. So I think there might be, no, just revert to original. So that, yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's no slider.
There's no slider. I wish there was a
Yeah,
slider.
like Topaz where you can just soften it all down.
Right.
I thought AI had it down here, you know, their predecessor. But yeah. So if you go, whoops, I'm gonna move this down because my screen interfaces. My share screen interface is in the way. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you go into edit, it'll tell you what you did, but you'd have to go into each one. And the other thing I don't like the way they stack these, if you go down to this first one, it takes away everything above it. So if you want to adjust this, you can't see how it interacts with the rest. So say I wanted to bring up the contrast, and when I go all the way up here, you know, it interacts differently. I'd like to see it with all of them. It'd be nice to have a toggle here where you can do all above, you know, interacting or not. And
Yeah, it created a lot of color noise.
Yeah, but I've mentioned that to them, but yeah. Just another little nitpick. Anyway. So those are the only changes I've seen. I guess they did a lot of bug fixes too, so that'll be helpful. But yeah, if you do get the subscription, they give you this little thing here. And then, you know, they don't even really tell you where they put them. I saw the noiseless right away when I got here, but I didn't know where the HDR merge was until I went to the catalog and I went, oh, okay. And I found it over here. So anyway. Yeah, this was like what I wanted to draw, and I pushed this pretty hard, and when you get up, just get this up again. So if you get this up like 200%, you can kind of start seeing some grain in there.
Mhm.
But if you go into noiseless again, it's telling me to use low, so I'll try that. But again, yeah, it takes a while for the first time, but once it sets up, then you can try low, medium, or high and do your adjustments. So
what's your opinion of the noiseless so far?
I think it's okay. I haven't compared it to denoise yet with the same image. I haven't had time to do that. You can see it's taking it down a bit. Yeah. I just don't know if it's worth, I think on sale it was $69 a year for these. I guess we'll see what the other ones come up to be like. The HDR I tried and it doesn't auto align them. so if you handheld them, forget it. It doesn't align them up. You'd have to go into Photoshop and line them all up and just do it that way. Or Starry Landscape or one of those other ones. I guess I'm just running out of time here. Let's move on to my images. So I got out on the porch here and ran one the other night as well. This is with the R5 and a 35 1.8. And yeah, I was getting those shooters too. Now this is a single image. I did do some that were stacked. They were a little stronger. Guess I could find that.
How long was this one, Sandy?
This was about, I think 5 seconds at 6400 ASA.
64.
Yeah, and then I took it into denoise. But the thing I've been doing, and I've tried Starry Landscape and Starry Night. I've got them both, and I found this Starry Night stacker seemed to be a little easier to work. And I also shoot 2 blank ones with the lens cap on using the same exposure and everything.
Yeah.
and add those to the stack, and it seems to help out with the grain, with the
Yeah.
noise considerably.
Hmm.
Let me
Supposed
just,
to be white ones as well, but.
yeah, I haven't tried the white ones yet, but let me see. Yeah, now here, this one's a stack of 10, just to give you an idea. And that's after I turned the little LEDs that were down on the bottom of the trees off. So I didn't get the blue there. But yeah, that's a stack of 10.
Sandy, what's the purpose of the power lines and the connections there?
I just kind of like the shape of it going on. You know, originally I had shot up higher, and then I thought maybe I'd come down a bit and got the neighbor's house. It's got a southwest field, and these are those big Corten steel power lines that go over the expressway.
Yeah.
I live just before those, so you kind of pinpoint where I'm at in Green Valley. Kind of just a little south of Camino and Canton, where you get the Coyote Trace. But let's see if we go back to this one and just do a comparison real quick here. Yeah, so I was getting a lot of ambient light here in a single shot, whereas with the stack, it got nice and deep.
Mhm.
So just to give you a comparison. And then I was playing with some butterflies. Monarch's been going through here lately.
Nice.
No, thanks. This is, I was originally going to get my macro, but they're kind of coming and going. So I had my 100 to 500 on there, and I just kind of backed off and went close to 500 on it just to see what I'd get.
Very nice.
You know, it gives kind of the same feeling. And I think I even get a little more depth of field with it compared to the 100 macro.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really nice.
Now, is this, do you have a milkweed plant? Is that what that is?
I'm not sure what it is, but
Oh.
yeah, they're just out and back. We've got,
Really nice colors there. Amazing.
yeah, it even looks like he's got like a little bug or something on his, yeah, on his wing there. A little friend there.
Beauty.
Oh, wow.
That one kind of looks like a flame.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I like how your background really just melts away.
Yeah, they kind of melt away without a lot of bokeh, which is kind of neat.
It's really perfect.
Yeah,
against
so,
the-
yeah, I may play around a little more with that 500 close up and see how it works. And then this was with the 35. I still had it on the camera from shooting the Milky Way the night before, and I saw this when I was eating breakfast. And I said, I'll grab a shot of that. So at the same time, I've got the iPhone 12 with the macro capability. So I said, well, let's see what I can do with that. So that's what I came up with on the iPhone.
Totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both are good. I like them.
I like both.
Oh, I really like this one.
That's even a little tighter. Good with the iPhone. But yeah, I really picked up the colors in the background.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
like that one compared to
Very
these two.
nice.
This one, it's kind of interesting the way the ball lettering is lit.
Mhm. You really get the feel of the roundness of the jar too, and that one
Yeah, yeah,
really picks up the dimension of it,
yeah,
where the iPhone flattens it.
yeah. It really flattens it out, and then when you get really close, it really gets flattened.
Mhm.
I
Which is
Really-
interesting too.
Yeah, I suppose if I left a little more of the edge, it might have given it a little more roundness. But
Really nice.
yeah, it's almost like shooting with a 35 and then jumping to like a 105 or a 200, flatten it out. Yeah. Well, that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
Thanks. Let's go back and see. Yeah, so this guy. Just see what high does. All right. Yeah, high does a pretty good job. Okay. So there you go.
Nice session.
Yeah, thanks. Good work this week, guys.
Mm,
Nice.
Really good. What a variety.
Quite. Let me